After the whistle starts in Wingate, where Clearfield's Will D'Amico flees for his life. Off the scramble, searching left, right, downfield, and back. Connects with Isaac Putt to keep Clearfield's drive going on 4th and 8. But would that be enough to take and hold the lead on the undefeated Bald Eagles? Hi, I'm Matt Abram, and we'll have more on that game and others from around District 6.
And I'm Will Dirksen. Penn State football is still undefeated after beating Northwestern last Saturday. We'll recap that game and talk about what to expect for the rest of the season. All that and more coming up on After the Whistle.
Let's head out to our game of the week. Undefeated Bald Eagles versus the 5-1 Clearfield Bison. Bald Eagle heads out the rainy night in front of its home crowd. 2 minutes left in the first half. Carson Nagel flips to Cameron Dubbs. The 3-yard gain, Bald Eagle up 7-0. With 3 minutes left in the third, ball on their 15. Carter Freeland takes the outside run to the house. Clearfield ties the game at 7-7. 2.5 minutes left in the fourth. 4th and 8, Will D'Amico connects with Isaac Putt to keep Clearfield Drive alive late. And then when we look at a couple of plays later, D'Amico scrambles and finds Brady Collins in the end zone. Bald Eagle blocks the extra point, but Clearfield still goes up 13-7. That late touchdown proved enough as Clearfield held on for the 13-7 victory. The Bison improved to 6-1 on the road to play Richland next week. Bald Eagle suffered its first loss of the season, falling to 6-1. The Eagles travel to face Greater Johnstown next week. Game of the Week reporter Carlos Garcia with more on this game.
Like Bald Eagle, Chestnut Ridge entered this week unbeaten, but would they stay perfect after a visit to Penn Cambria? The Lions entering unfamiliar territory tonight as the Panthers held a Wear Pink night at their home field for some rainy Friday night football. Already leading 7-0, Panthers quarterback Brady Jones hands it off to Mason Mento for a short run into the end zone. The Panthers extended their lead with 3 minutes remaining in the third. Next play, Jones calls for the snap to hold for the extra point, but takes it himself instead as he runs through an open lane for the 2-point conversion. Penn Cambria up 15-0. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third. Nate Weissong attempts to take it on his own, but the Lions D-line forces to stop. Lions on 4th down at the end of the third quarter. Nate Weissong hands off to Jeb Emmerich, but they find no luck as the Panthers are there to put another stop to the run game. Penn Cambria, your winner 15-12 tonight over Chestnut Ridge. Penn Cambria moves to 6-1 and will face Bellwood Antis at home next week. Chestnut Ridge moves to a 6-1 record and will host Bishop Guilfoyle at home.
Now let's see how the Penns Valley Rams play tonight against the undefeated Central Dragons. Penns Valley coming off a loss to Clearfield last week. The student section decked out in camo tonight. Look at them. Less than 6 minutes to go in the first, Central quarterback Eli Muffler finds Jacob Benson for the first score. Central up 6-0. However, on the PAT, a muffed snap allows kicker Hunter Smith to throw to Troy Butler for 2. Central makes it 8-0. All the way to less than a minute up in the second, now up 21-0. Muffler heaves a pass to Baron Dianis to set up a Central prime scoring position. And now on a 4th and 9 with no time left in the first half, Jack Dunn hauls it in from 22 yards out, and this would make it 28-0 for the Dragons. Penns Valley would score twice in the second half, but it would not be enough as Central would take the victory 28-14 over the Rams. Central stays undefeated at 7-0 and travel to Bedford next week as Penns Valley falls to 4-3 and will head over to Somerset to face the Eagles. And now let's look at some scores around District 6. Mifflin County melted Milton Hershey 42-35. Forest Hills captured a win over Central Cambria 41-6.
Hollidaysburg drilled Oil City 49-0, and Phillipsburg Osceola held off Bellefonte 14-13.
Altoona defeated Chambersburg 25-7, and State College defeated Carlisle 55-20.
West Branch had a big win over Southern Huntington with a final score of 54-12. And Richland bested Greater Johnstown 42-8.
Bellwood Antis faced off against BG tonight during pregame. The crowd held a moment of silence for John R. Hayes, former Bellwood Antis head coach and athletic director who passed away last Saturday. End of the first quarter, quarterback Chase Kissel throws a pass to Jake Kissel, who takes off on foot. Look at him go, scoring for the Marauders. 7-0 Bishop Guilfoyle. Middle of the second quarter, Chase Kissel makes a handoff to Caden Wyden, who runs through defense into the end zone, but the two-point conversion failed. 13-0 BG. End of the second quarter, quarterback Holden Schreier hands the ball off to Alex McCartney, who pushes in for the Blue Devils' first touchdown, but the PAT missed 13-6. BG got the win over Bellwood Antis 27-13, and BG advances to 4-3 while Bellwood Antis falls to 1-6. Bishop Guilfoyle plays at Chestnut Ridge next week, while Bellwood Antis plays away at Penn Cambria.
The Huntington Bearcats have lost their last 3 games, while the Tyrone Golden Eagles have won their last 2. Would both streaks continue or be snapped tonight? We start late in the first quarter. Tyrone already up 13-0. They have running back Brady Ronan. Here he catches the screen pass from Ashton Walk and takes it to the distance. His 3rd touchdown of the night. Tyrone up 19-0. Now in the second quarter, it's Ronan again, cutting through the defense like a knife through butter. 26 yards. Tyrone up 25-0. Late second quarter, Ronan again, this time from 2 yards out. Yeah, count them on your fingers like rings, young man. Tyrone up 32-0. The Golden Eagles soared on the ground tonight, defeating Huntington 39-7. Both streaks continue as Tyrone goes to 4-3, while Huntington drops to 1-6. Tyrone travels to Central Cambria next week, while Huntington heads to Forest Hills.
A conversation about Penn State's football season is coming up.
But first, let's turn to some scores from the PIAA. We'll see you after the break.
We're going to take you back to our Game of the Week, where our Game of the Week reporter Carlos Garcia was at Alumni Stadium tonight. Carlos, break it down for us.
Well, Matt, what was supposed to be a total air raid offense and a shootout quickly turned into an offensive stalemate. Obviously, some of the elements played into that effect, so let's take a quick look at that.
It was a cool and dry Friday night in Bald Eagle, until it wasn't. The 5-1 Clearfield Bison traveled into Bald Eagle area to match up against the undefeated Eagles. After one offensive drive, the skies opened up, and the rain didn't stop for the rest of the night, forcing both teams to change their game plan.
We decided to go behind our linemen. We trusted them. They could do a great job blocking, and it showed. We had a great second half. We pounded them. We kept blocking. We ran the ball effectively.
For head coach Miles Carrigan, coming into a hostile environment to face a tough team on the road was a challenge in itself. But the even bigger challenge was trying to get his air raid offense to redefine itself after the rain denied any offensive momentum.
Coach Carrigan kind of just came in and told us to believe in ourselves, that they're 6-0 and we were down 7-0 at halftime and we still weren't playing that well. All we needed to come in the second half and do was play our football game. We were going to win.
When a quarterback sees that a play may not work, he calls an audible. But how do you audible towards the weather? That's exactly what Clearfield did. Going down into the second half, 7-0, they fought back and were able to change their game plan and come out with a W.
And at halftime, all it took was a few words to rally the troops and help spark a second half comeback.
We were definitely frustrated. I mean, it was shown a little bit. But the seniors stood up, they stood together, they kept fighting, they kept pounding the ball, they trusted the game plan, and they executed perfectly. They did a great job. I'm very proud of them.
Our game of the week this week definitely came down to the wire, and the rain had a ton of factors to do with it, but nonetheless, Clearfield coming out with the victory. Reporting in studio, I'm Carlos Garcia. Now over to you, Will.
Thanks, Carlos. Welcome back to After the Whistle, brought to you by Com Radio, Center County Report, and Penn State's chapter of Awesome.
And now let's rewind to Saturday when Penn State used a big second half to pull out a 41-13 win over Northwestern. Reporter Adam Sheets has more.
The 6th-ranked Nittany Lions hit the road on Saturday to battle Northwestern in a conference showdown. The Wildcats took a lead early, and quarterback Ben Bryant added a rushing score to give them a 10-3 lead late in the second quarter. The Penn State offense answered quickly as running back Trey Potts scampered for a 13-yard score, his first rushing touchdown of the season, tying things up at 10 apiece. Then in the third quarter, Penn State started to roll as quarterback Drew Aller sneaked his way into the end zone to give Penn State its first lead of the game. Later in the third, Drew Aller found running back Nicholas Singleton for a 2-yard score and pushed Penn State's lead to 27-10 heading to the fourth quarter. The Nittany Lions put a bow on the game when backup quarterback Bo Perbula found Trey Potts wide open for a 30-yard score. The Lions won 41-13 and moved to 5-0 on the season.
Thanks, Adam. The Nittany Lions have a bye this week, so let's pause and catch up on the season with Com Radio's football insiders, Matt Scalzo and Justin Chevalella.
Thanks, Matt. Sitting at a 5-0 record and number 6 in the top 25 AP poll, the Penn State Nittany Lions football team has gotten off to a hot start. Welcome into this edition of How They Got Here. I'm joined alongside Penn State's Com Radio's Justin Chevalella and Matt Scalzo, both insiders for the Penn State football team. So guys, obviously Penn State's 5-0 on the year, number 6 in the top 25. Justin, I'll start with you. What are some general thoughts from the season so far?
Well, it's complementary football at its finest for Penn State right now. Their offense, just over 40 points per game. Their defense, letting up less than 10 points per game. I mean, that's complementary football. That's the definition of it. And you look at it, it's because of the turnover differential. Penn State's defense is forcing turnovers like no other team in the country, and their offense isn't turning the ball over. But I look at his main weapon, who's helping him the most, and that's Keandre Lambert-Smith. 25 receptions for 372 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. He is by far the number 1 option for Penn State.
And Matt, for Manny Diaz's defense, a defensive unit that's arguably one of the best in the country, who's been the main factor, the driving force on that end of the ball?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint one singular person, but you look on that defensive line and a defensive line group that considers themselves one of the best in the nation. I'm looking at Adisa Isaac. He's tied for a team high with 2.5 sacks. He's back again, another veteran player, and he's just a nice piece to have on one side.
Justin, Matt, thanks for joining us in studio today. Make sure to tune in every Saturday on Penn State's Com Radio for the broadcast coverage of all Penn State home and away football games. Now back to you, Matt and Will, at the desk.
Thanks, guys. To stay updated across the bye week, go to belisariostudentmedia.psu.edu and click on Com Radio.
Bellwood Antis celebrated its homecoming tonight. The homecoming court was represented with posters hung on the fences of the bleachers despite the rainy conditions. Everyone was still in good spirits, especially Miranda Tornator, who was crowned as homecoming queen. The court was also in charge of revealing the fundraiser total of the Sideline Cancer Foundation. The school raised $5,240. And that's all for us on Week 7. Join us next week as we continue to talk about all things in District 6. I'm Matt Cabram.
And I'm Will Dirksen. Thank you for catching up with us on all the high school football action right here on After the Whistle.